Hey everybody, this is Eddie from Talking Shit. Before we start the show with our guest TJ Miller, I want to talk to you about our new sponsor, Audible. Go visit audiblepodcast.com/talk shit. Do that right now, audiblepodcast.com/talk shit. You get a free audiobook download. As soon as you do that, you help the show and you learn a little. We got a new Twitter you need to go to. It's at Talking Shit News. And I think Farside updates that, and he tells you everything that's going on with the show and with the Mongcast and with the Brian McCarthy interview show. So all of those are under the Talking Shit Podcast Network. Go listen to them. They're all on Stitcher. They're all on iTunes. And the Mongcast is doing well. They're getting better and better every day. The Mongcast is made up of all the Mongs that work on the show, minus Jason, because we don't know where Jason is. He's still absent. So go to our website, as always. You can check everything out from there, YouTube, Facebook, all our Twitters, and there's pictures. And you can write to us at jimandeddy@yahoo.com if you're interested in advertising on the show, or just fucking comment. Go to our Facebook page, do all that shit. And I just want to push that I am going to be February 21st to March 11th at the Fringe Festival in Adelaide, Australia. And you can get tickets for that right now at adelaidefringe.com.au. I'm also going to be February 8th to 12th, I think it is. I'm going to be at Seattle at the Comedy Underground. And March 22nd to March 24th, I'm at the Ann Arbor Comedy Showcase in Michigan. That's in Ann Arbor, Michigan. Jim?
I'm going to be in the Palisades.
Do you know where that is?
I don't even know where that is. What is it?
It's like across the river from New York.
I'm going to be in New York.
No, it's New Jersey. No, that is New York.
I'm going to be in New York. I'm going to be in the Improv's already sold out, and I'm going to be at a place called Bananas.
Yeah, why don't you just go to jimjeffries.com and buy some tickets. So let's start the show.
Hey everyone, hi, this is Jim Jeffries. Welcome to Jim and Eddie Talking Shit. We have TJ Miller with us. Hello, TJ.
Hey guys.
Thanks for coming,
Thanks
TJ.
for having me on.
TJ you will know from many movies such as Cloverfield and Yogi Bear.
Just really Yogi Bear.
Yogi Bear.
And Jim, it's Yogi Bear 3D.
No, this is the
It's
thing.
in the title.
My niece and nephew in Australia, they bought a 3D TV, and the only DVD they got with it was Yogi Bear in 3D. Was the one that they threw in with the television. And so you're the most famous person I know that I can tell my niece and nephew about.
I mean, that's what I was looking for when I started doing comedy.
And they said, is he like your best friend? And I went, no.
You can go ahead and say yes. You can say yes.
I told them
along.
that.
What do they know? What are they going to keep asking? They're like, oh, really? How old is he?
But then, like,
where is he from?
Then I'll have to like pass the phone on to you, and you'll have to chat to him. And then
I'd do that.
Well,
yeah,
the way
I didn't know when I was going to see you next.
Well, I can come to you.
Okay, cool.
I just keep making it impossible for you not to introduce me to your niece and nephew.
The way I got to be friends
I'm best friends with Jim. Who are you? Get off our porch.
the way I got to be friends with Jim's niece and nephew was by throwing your name, dropping it, and it got me in with
I
them.
do real well
once
with
you get
nieces
into the
and nephews,
circle,
yeah.
though, they're pretty good to you, those two.
Yeah.
Yeah?
No,
Yeah.
not really.
I like talking to kids. You know what I mean?
Why don't you tell Jim how you got the job on that show, on that movie?
Well,
Because you look like a cartoon character.
I don't want to say I'm the best talking bear comedian in the
I saw your
United
audition.
States, but
Aren't you Ranger Smith or something? I don't know.
I'm Ranger Jones, the
Yeah.
sidekick to Ranger Smith.
Was he in the cartoons?
Ranger Smith was. Ranger Jones was not.
So you had nothing to research it off, like to get into character?
That was the most difficult part of the role, because I had no source material. So I kind of had to forge my own path. And many people have done that. Thomas Edison, Charles Manson. A lot of people have had to make their own way in this world. But I auditioned for it because they told me about it before movies come out. in Hollywood, they're just talked about, and they just sound ridiculous. I mean, imagine when people were like, so they're doing an Alvin and the Chipmunks, and everybody was like, that's the dumbest idea I've ever heard. 3 movies later, it's like $1 billion franchise.
Well,
so
who would have not thought that Chipwrecked wouldn't have worked? Like, of course, it's gold.
It's gold.
Yeah. Is there a cartoon or animated movie that hasn't made money?
Jetsons. They need to make a Jetsons, a live action
No,
Jetsons.
is there one that's failed? I don't know anyone that's ever come up.
I mean, there are occasionally, but it's pretty rare. Even Hop did great.
Yeah, but the Flintstones, that movie, The Flintstones, is weird because you can tell the moment they lost their budget. Like the beginning,
the dinosaurs start just being
beginning of the
paintings.
film, there's pterodactyls and things, and there's all these things. They got the excellent car, and then like the last half of the film is just in a quarry.
Did you say they had an excellent car?
No, they have the Flintstones car, like the car.
But I like that. The car was excellent. I mean, the detail on it, everything. Yeah,
I know they got Rosie O'Donnell to play Betty, which we all thought that would be a hotter casting than Rosie O'Donnell.
No,
I always thought Betty was the hot one.
Yeah.
Wasn't she? Betty was the hot? No, Wilma.
Well, no, but they were both. They were both hot. There was a brunette, and they were both hot.
I like how we're talking about cartoons being hot.
And let's get Jessica Rabbit out of the equation.
I mean, Boo Boo looks pretty
there's
good.
no way Rosie O'Donnell would be my thought when looking at that picture.
No, certainly not. I don't even think Rosie O'Donnell looks in the mirror and sees that.
He looks like Rachel.
Yeah, but I did a. After they gave me a call back and they were considering casting me. Oh, there's some fan.
Farside just pulled up on the computer a picture of Betty or Wilma and Ryan.
No. Go back. There was
Wilma's
go back. There was
going down
sexy Halloween outfits. Go to the sexy Halloween. I love a sexy Halloween outfit.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's sexy.
It's some.
I'd like to give her a little bam.
Farside, how did you just find sexy cartoon porn?
He put in Flintstones women sexy.
Why do you know there was a case?
Why did you have that bookmarked?
Because these cartoons, there's a lot of them when you go to the web pages where it's just like The Simpsons fucking and all that type of stuff. Someone got into a lot of trouble because they found images of The Simpsons fucking, but Lisa and Bart were involved and it was considered child porn. The guy got arrested, which
Really?
I think that's uncalled for. You should be able to fuck cartoon children.
Wow, I don't even want to talk about it now.
That's where you draw the line.
That's where I say
You
it's
should be able
because
to-
Bart's exactly the same age as me. It's just that he's not. He's like
I agree.
Gary fucking Coleman.
I agree with you, Jim, and they should also be able to draw cartoons of Muhammad too.
Yeah, I agree with that. How else are we going to find out what the guy looks like? No one knows what he looks like. They put no effort into Muhammad.
Okay, so tell the story.
So so when I was about to get the part, I thought it would be funny. I forget who thought of it, but it was at some lunch with a bunch of like weird representatives, and somebody said, it would be funny if you did a tape with like a real bear, and I was like, all right, I'll do it. Give me a bear. And it was so funny to see whatever
So it's just a large gay guy showed up with a beard.
Yeah. Well, see, that's what I was looking for. But then, so my agents actually had to find a bear, and the cheapest one, his name was Bam Bam. That's true. Mm-hmm. And then I went to the Hollywood Animal Ranch.
Did you really want to work with the cheapest one?
Yeah, I know. Well, people are always like, was it scary?
He was
And it
just a
wasn't.
rug by that stage.
I know. It was just the head of a bear.
Because I worked with cows once in a commercial, and they pulled up 2 cows, and we were going to get in this Winnebago with the cows, and the guy goes, this one's never been on TV.
Oh, God.
But this one is a regular on TV, but it's not having a good day.
And I'm sure the one that had never been on TV was just shaking in its hooves,
So what happened?
So I did the audition with the bear. It's on YouTube, and it ended up like the animal trainer was like, I think the only thing an animal trainer does is just make you feel bad about things that you say about the animal. Because I was like, so can I put my arm around the bear? And he's like, no. Absolutely not. Are you crazy? And I was like, oh yeah, I'm crazy because you trained a bear and live in a ranch with him in the valley, and I'm the insane one to ask if I can put my arm around a bear. And he said, no. I said, can I sit down next to him? He's like, no, don't get down. Don't touch him. Don't put your hands near his face. He'll rip and tear at yours. Don't do it. And I was like, okay. I said, if I give him the script, can he hold it? And he's like, no, of course not. He's a fucking bear. Like, the guy was so mad that I asked these questions. And then if you watch the actual video, I give him the paper, and the bear takes the paper in his paws, and then he eats the paper. and
I just wanted you to.
and it's okay, and yeah, it's great. You should see it on YouTube. It's a lot more fun to watch than describe.
Put it up. Can you put?
But it's but yeah. So everyone says, "Oh, were you scared?" And I wasn't particularly.
You weren't scared?
Here we go.
See, I've watched too many videos of people fucking getting mauled with animal handlers.
I'll tell you a good one. Put in kangaroo beating up Marty the monster.
But watch this first. Watch his bear one of him with the bear.
And so after I put that out, they offered me the job.
Look who's on the side.
And then everybody,
Yeah, don't
because
worry
it's a
about it.
better story. Oh, look, and on Film Drunk,
Do you
it
not
says
know how to go to
Dane Cook
YouTube?
bombed badly. All right, so the I put it up, and then because it's a better story, everybody said, "Oh, T.J. Miller was so desperate for the role in Yogi Bear 3D that he hired a bear, and that's what got him the job." And that's even what you thought, right? And the truth is, I had the job beforehand, but it doesn't really matter. I think it's a better story that I was desperate for the role.
No, but if
Yogi
you
Bear.
did it to get the role, I think that's fucking great.
I just thought it would be funny.
Well, I would never fucking do it.
So
I went to a
most
shark cage once with great white sharks, and I said to the guy, I was like, "So where can I put my hands? Can I put them here?" He's like, "Yeah, if you want them to fucking eat them."
See, they're mean. Animal
like-
trainers are mean.
I'm like, "Why didn't you tell us that first?"
What a weird.
Yeah,
I think
but
it's
why
because
are you
they're
so
frustrated.
surprised about a guy that works with just animals and not people being a bit odd?
Well, the thing is that I think they're frustrated by constantly being around animals that can't listen to them. So then when they talk to a person, they're immediately frustrated.
But everybody probably asks
All
the
right, press
same
play, come on.
questions too, because those are the common questions you ask when you're around a fucking deadly
Jesus
animal.
All right.
Christ.
That's-
So this is,
We're watching the bear,
and the bear is a 600-pound grizzly bear.
It's on a rope.
No, well, a chain just in the beginning, but then they take the chain off.
I wouldn't have done this for $1 million.
And the
You
weirdest
did know
thing is
that Yogi was going to be animated, right?
you've got to. No, I had no idea. And it looks like green screen in the beginning, but you got to feed a bear marshmallows every 10 minutes or they stop acting. That's the policy I've taken in my own film career.
That's what you feed crocodiles too, or alligators, or
Is
whatever.
that true?
Yeah.
Crocodiles or alligators.
It does look like a green screen.
But wait till you see this.
Hey, Yogi, what are you doing?
And the bear kind of talks. It's amazing. It kind of worked perfectly. We only really did one take.
Well, you've been told not to do that. Where's Boo Boo?
Hey there, boo-boo.
Come back.
See,
This is much more nerve-wracking than I expected.
there's a guy with marshmallows. Then and then look, this is amazing. So I give him the sides, and he takes it and he starts eating them. And I can't believe it. I mean, you can see on my face. I'm like, no way.
You just shook.
And he just keeps eating them.
A bear disturbance, sir.
Now I bought that hat myself, and it was $20. And then I went into the callback. This was before I did this. I went to the callback with the hat on, because I thought the whole thing was so ridiculous. So I went into the audition, and I said, hey, I bought my own hat.
Wait, you just let the bear eat a marshmallow
Yeah,
out of
because
your
here's
mouth.
the worst part. So the animal trainer is being mean to me the whole time, and then at the end, after he sees it's kind of fun and everything, he says to me, he goes, "Hey, come here." I go, "Okay." I walk over and he goes, "Hey, you want him to give you a kiss?" And I was like, yeah. And he said, "All right, put a marshmallow in your mouth, and then when he takes it, let go of the marshmallow." And I was like, "Okay, what happens
I'm
if I
gonna
don't?" He's
fight
like,
him.
"Just let go of the marshmallow."
Well, now you're pulling on the paper. Oh, my God.
There's a whole thing. But I went into the callback with the hat, and I said, "Hey, I don't know if you want me to wear the hat or not, and I know that me having a ranger hat probably gives me an advantage over the other people that didn't have a hat. But let me just say this before you decide if I can wear the hat or not in the audition. It was $19.99, and it's non-refundable. It's only exchanges, so I can really only exchange it for another hat. And so they say, "Yeah, okay, you can wear the hat."
I tried to buy my brother. I was in Niagara Falls. My brother goes, "Get me one of those Mountie hats." So I go. I'm like, my girlfriend's like, "What?"
They're
I'm like,
scout hats. They're
I go.
scouts.
I got to get a Mountie hat. So I go into the store and I go, "Yeah, I want to get a Mountie hat." And the woman's like, "Okay, they're over there." And I go to pick up this Mountie hat. It's like $144 or something.
I mean,
and I
what-
go, "No, you're not getting a fucking Mountie hat."
Now,
You just
Fa-
buy
Fa-
one here for
Far
$20.
side. Go onto YouTube and put kangaroo. And I think it's Marty the monster.
This is awesome.
And this is what happened.
I've never
was
seen this.
This is an Australian TV show that I had growing up, which was just a guy. I think it was Marty the Monster or something the Monster, and it was a guy that was in a suit that used to do the links between the cartoons. And here they go. Okay, so
Wait, let me set it up too, because I'll tell you, I've watched it a million times.
it's a big red. It's a 6 foot tall kangaroo.
Yeah, and
It's from 1987.
this guy this might be a different one, Jim, than I've seen.
I always
This
thought it
is-
was inside a studio.
This isn't the guy that fights the kangaroo. Is
No.
it? Oh, that's another one.
This is from a morning show. This happened live on TV. in
There's
Australia.
another one too.
Yeah.
Let's see it. Is he just hugging a...
He's hugging the kangaroo.
Very affectionate.
He's hugging the kangaroo when there's like these fucking giant stuffed animals like Furbies.
I mean, nothing is scarier than the stuffed animal behind him.
No, hold on.
He's going to fight. He's just I love the moment when the guy in the suit is like, oh, this is real. This is actually going to happen. Help me. But no one can hear him.
Nobody cares. Nobody cares.
They're all just laughing. And that's the problem. If you put yourself in a mascot suit,
Look at this guy.
here's the problem. If you put yourself in a mascot suit, you can't ask for help.
I've done a TV show with Amanda Keller.
Yeah, she was the woman in the background. Yeah.
Was she really?
Oh yeah, but it doesn't stop. It goes on and on. Like they come back from
He's trying
they
to
come
get
back
him
from
on.
commercial and the thing.
And now he's talking to the kangaroo. He's like, cut it out. Seriously. Like the kangaroo's
We
going to
will
be like,
pay,
okay.
we'll post this on our Facebook because
He
everybody
is
always complains. They're like,
straight
"Oh, great guys, you guys fucking talk about shit and you watch it." And we don't know
Well,
what the fuck's
one of the
going on."
problems is that your listeners don't know how to use YouTube because it's so hard to write in the very title that Jim gave us.
What
Yeah,
I
so
like,
didn't-
what
never
I like
fought
is
the bear.
the dude with the blonde
doesn't.
feathered hair.
I think
the dude with the blonde feathered hair laughs and taunts it.
Leave it going. I think it gets even better at the end. Like
It's unbelievable. And the guy,
Oh, he's
Yeah,
doing
that guy-
play-by-play.
no, he's a comedian. That guy.
but the
just
the
all
guy
right.
with the blonde feathered the guy with the blonde feathered
kicked the
hair
guy
is
in the
just
nuts.
laughing,
But
laughing.
the guy with the beard, like going, "Oh, settle down," trying to reason with the kangaroo.
But this is complete animal like abuse.
Yeah. Well, sort of. The animal's abusing the mascot. I remain. If you're in a mascot, I for Halloween one year in my high school, I wore a full bunny suit because I thought that'd be funny, like junior year of high school. And I went to a school that was primarily black and Hispanic, and I went in there, and for whatever reason, as soon as I got to school, these kids just started beating the shit out of me. They would run by, all the black kids would run by and like hit me in the bunny head because I had one of those big mascot suits. So they'd hit it and it'd spin around. I couldn't find it. And by the time I put it back around, I couldn't figure out who did it. And they kept doing it. It happened like 10 times throughout the day. I'd be walking to class and somebody would just run up behind me and hit me as hard as they could. So I went home during lunch and I got a crowbar that I had painted blue and I brought it back to high school. I know that Eddie enjoys this. Jim is still on the fence. Jim's like,
I'm
I
waiting
don't
to
know.
see what you're going to do with the crowbar.
So I brought the crowbar because it was blue, and I just carried the crowbar for the rest of the day, and nobody hit me again. But a teacher, like towards the end of like 7th period, came up to me and goes, "Why do you have a crowbar?" and I was like, "Bunny with a crowbar," and he's like, "What?" Because I had the head on, and I was like, "Bunny with a crowbar," and he goes, "I can't hear you. Take off your head." And I took my head off, and he's like, "Why do you have a crowbar with you?" And I go, "Bunny with a crowbar. You never seen that show?" And the guy goes like this. Swear to God, he goes, "Oh yeah, no, I've seen that. Okay, that's good. It looks like the thing." He like tried to be cool, and then I hit him in the face with the fucking crowbar.
I thought you were gonna say I went home at lunchtime. I took the bunny suit off.
Yeah.
You're like, no, I came back with a crowbar.
No, I was like, "Fuck that."
I was gonna fuck
You
some
can't
kids
do
up.
that. If you
And I
go to
love-
school like that, you can't
If
go
you
home
would,
and take
if you
off
would,
the suit.
Right.
if
That's
you would beat
weakness.
some kids to
Right.
death with the crowbar, it would have been the greatest story
I've
ever.
been the best, but I'd be in jail now. We'd be doing this.
And I love how no teachers asked you why you're in a fucking bunny suit. They're
Yeah, they
just
don't
concerned.
care.
Oh, I missed the beginning. I thought everyone was in outfits.
Well, I mean, it was Halloween, but I think at the high school, most people, you know,
Can
it
you
wasn't
do that
partic-
in
it
American
wasn't
schools
particularly
on Halloween?
gangster.
Can you just dress up?
Yeah,
it's Halloween.
That's one of the things that
but
scares me
what
about
do you
Halloween.
guys do
School
for
day?
Halloween? Yeah,
Nothing,
what do you
but
do?
we wouldn't. We wear our uniforms.
You don't have
Well,
Halloween.
that's part of the
You
problem.
don't have Halloween in Australia.
We have it.
You have dress-up days.
Our
it-
uniforms in Denver were bunny suits, so I was just wearing my
I forget
uniform.
that you can't stay wear uniforms. I think that would be really hard as a kid. Like if I grew up in a family that didn't have a lot of money in a rich neighborhood, so I had hand-me-downs. I didn't like my clothes enough to wear them to school. I appreciated wearing a uniform, so I just looked like every other schmuck.
I went to a Catholic school where we wore uniforms and got raped.
I raped a lot of Catholic school kids.
Here comes the
in a bunny suit.
It makes me nervous on Halloween in New York when I used to live in New York City and people would dress up. And they dress up like Jason Voorhees or whatever from Friday the 13th. And then they carry a machete around the streets of New York.
And no one cares because it's just, you're dressed up that
People
day.
Next year, I'm going as Jason Voorhees, but I'm literally going to carry a machete, the guy that works on your show.
Well, I find it funny when you go to a baseball game in this country and it's bat day and they give you a bat.
Yeah,
not a Dodger Stadium.
Because in baseball, the fans aren't known for beating the shit out of each
they
other,
are.
like with soccer and stuff like that.
They'll throw you over a balcony.
Have you heard of Brian Stowe?
Yeah, no, but that one guy, that guy who died, who got beaten to death till he was a vegetable, or whatever. Did he die?
He's still a vegetable.
He's still a vegetable. Was he doing nothing? Like, I'm not saying he deserved to be beaten up.
They have video of him like getting into it during the game with people and stuff. He definitely wasn't.
Every time I see a photo of the guy,
bystander.
I look at him and I think he was a bit of a lippy fucker. Him. Yeah. I'm not condoning beating someone up to being a vegetable, but I'm just.
But you are saying being lippy can lead.
No, but they painted a picture of the guy like he was just going around giving food to homeless people. When all of a sudden, you know what I mean?
My prediction: you're going to get an email or 2 or 3.
Not from him.
Yeah, here's what it's going to say. Jim Jeffries. Yeah.
It's just going to be the word QWERTY as he falls over.
And I'm going to get shit for the Penn State shit from the last episode.
Look, I'm not condoning it. I'm saying the guys who did it were completely wrong, but the media portrayed it in a very odd way. I thought.
I think he was motherfucking everyone.
No, I don't think he was doing that. He seemed like a very nice man. He had kids, you know.
What is the story?
But you know that guy who caught the kid for ball for his kid and fell over and died. He fully deserved it.
I mean, his kid's going to end up romanticizing that for the rest of his life. That's one thing. Because if your father dies, like, in a drunk driving accident or something, and he was drunk, that's bad.
He was trying to catch a ball from me.
He reached out to catch the ball from me, and he fell to his
Where did that happen?
That happened. So what do you do? Do you put the ball in the mantle?
We can get the footage up of that, can we?
You know, I think you carry the ball with you.
At all times.
Yeah, and then whenever somebody sort of insults you or says, like, why aren't you working harder, or you're just fucking around on the computer, you kind of pull out the ball and you put it on the desk, and you go, I want to tell you a story.
Hey, in saying that, the ball that I threw, did your dog eat that?
I don't think so.
My ball's gone. My ball I threw at Wrigley Field is gone.
I think that ball you should be ashamed of.
No, it doesn't matter. I still own the fucking thing.
When did this happen?
That shame or not?
But 6... Yeah.
So this is on
It
World
got
News.
overshadowed by the beating.
That beating. Beatings often overshadow men dying from fly
No, but you know what the
balls.
sad thing? No, it wasn't a fly ball. The sad thing was the fielder fielded it and then he threw it into the crowd and he didn't throw it far enough.
Oh no, yeah, that's right. I remember that. And that guy that ruined that guy's life.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so terrible. I remember this.
Oh, they're
the
gonna show
guy,
us?
all he was trying to do was
It was
just
at a
throw.
Texas Rangers game. He fell 20 feet to his death.
And then they show him, and they stop it.
That's his kid. That's his kid there. That's his kid.
Wow.
Oh, my God. That's fucking awful.
But on the upside, Texas won that match.
Wouldn't it be, play it in reverse so he lives.
Yeah. Play it in reverse, so that he jumps back up and goes, I didn't get the ball.
I love you, son.
No, the thing was that he didn't die automatically. He died on the way to the hospital.
I like automatically. He died automatically.
All right, Farside, stop fucking playing it.
Play it again. I think he reached too far for that. I think that was a silly move on his behalf. I think he'll regret
one of the
that.
players threw him the ball.
Yeah. I think looking back, he's going to regard that as the worst decision of his life. Don't you think, Jim?
Yeah, I think so. And the thing was, he was just there with his son, so like the son was alone. There wasn't anybody there to take care of the kids. So.
That's the time to drink a beer when you're a kid.
Yeah.
You know, no parental
Like
supervision.
your dad's beer would still be left there because he had to be hammered.
That kid, his whole life is going to be like an Adam Sandler film, you know, where he's doing something like fucked up later in life, and he tells the story about what happened, and how he quit the baseball team because but he's brought back later, and why is he good now? Why was he a great player? And my dad fucking dove over and got the ball and died.
Yeah,
that's the good version.
He was a great player, but he would have made the major leagues, but he refused to play in the outfield.
He wouldn't
And
jump for it.
He wasn't good enough.
You could never dive for
That's
it.
that's the optimistic version, Eddie. But the bad version is that right now that kid is like in a basement apartment somewhere in Canton,
Listening to
Ohio,
our podcast.
just jacking off in his own feces, crying,
Eating baseballs.
eating many baseballs.
And his name's Farside.
Now he's
You
here
do
with
look like. Are your parents both alive, Farso?
Both my parents are alive, but they're divorced.
Neither of them have killed themselves through disappointment.
No, they lived through my sister's disappointment, so I guess they can handle mine.
She's worse than you.
Yeah.
You
What is
always
your-
got to have a sibling that's
What
worse.
does your
That's
What does
key.
your sister look like?
You want me to show you?
Yes.
I can't pick on you like I pick on Jason. I love you too much, Farside. I can't pick on you like I pick on Jason.
I do want to see a picture.
You're
of
not
Farside's
fun. You're
sister.
not fun to pick on.
Don't use a normal photo. Just get Google
Yeah.
Maps on it.
No, I'm just gonna drag over her Facebook.
I want you to be the most famous.
Actually.
Wait a minute. Wait a
you say
minute.
you're
Wait
just
a minute.
gonna-
It
Wait
looks
a
like
minute.
a female.
Wait a
Farside.
minute.
Where are we with
Wait. His sister's Facebook page says at the top, "Life is too short not to orgasm every day."
That's what I want my sister to be telling the world.
They,
And it's also the background of it is all like
oh,
clouds,
that-
weird.
that was my sister. I would have an AK-47 out in the street just mowing people down.
That is him in a wig. That is fucking
That
him
looks
in a
like
wig.
his Ricky Lake.
That's
I
unbelievable.
mean, here's the weirdest
my
part.
sister.
It looks like that her cheek has been attached to her shoulder for months.
do you want us to have people add your sister?
She actually listens to this.
Okay, I
if
think-
she has a
why
problem with it,
why is she holding a heart?
because she's fucked up.
Yeah, I like her, man.
No, that's her kid. That's my niece.
She looks a little Farsighted.
Has her niece seen Yogi Bear 3D, and does she want to talk to me on the phone? Is my question.
She actually.
I
has
didn't.
seen
I didn't
Yogi
tell you
Bear.
that my
It was her first
nephew and
movie.
niece are 18, did I?
So is that her?
Yeah, that's my sister.
That is you. Oh,
That's her doing a beer horn. In Rhode Island, we have a lot of beer horns.
A
where we
beer
just-
horn.
You just fill a horn with.
She has the
like,
same
beer.
retarded thumb.
Yeah. Yeah.
It runs in the family.
Does she have?
No,
You know what it is? It's from giving too many thumbs up.
Look at him. Look at
Look
him.
at
She
his thumb.
broke
Look
her
at his,
finger.
look at his double jointed thumb.
She has the same one.
Yeah. No, that's we combined.
Does she have the same talking shit tattoo on her back?
No, but she has two dragons fucking on her back. I'm
Wait,
not
hold
even-
on. Let's back up. You have a talking shit tattoo?
Yeah. I've made some choices.
Yeah. I like that there's no adjective before the word choices.
The thing is, my name's written at the top. My name's written at the top, and Eddie's name's written at the bottom. And when he wears a ill-fitting T-shirt, my name just says Jim Jeffries along his neck.
Just like the weirdest thing where you guys had a relationship for a couple weeks. He got too heavy into it. You pulled out, Jim, and now he's like, God damn it. I better put Eddie and talking shit underneath.
If you go to my Facebook, someone just had a new Jim Jeffries tattoo put on them.
Oh no.
I like
no.
that.
Oh
I've
no.
never-
You're not so original.
I've never had a.
Oh, speaking of which, the fight story that I told, the brilliant fight story that Donnell didn't like, John Queso was there. The dude that has the tattoo on
Oh,
his
who
ass.
invented the dip?
No, the dude that has the tattoo on his ass.
Oh, yeah.
And the tattoo has just turned into a black blob.
That is the worst tattoo I've ever seen.
I've never seen it, but I'll say this. I like that his last name's Queso, and he said he invented the dip. Because I wish that there was a guy named. I am Mr. Queso. You know that guy, whenever people are eating chips and dip, he's like,
I'll tell you a story when
you know that dip? How do you like it?
of a fight where I saw a woman kick off. I was in a gay bar. I was along with some girl. I went to a gay bar in London.
You don't have to say a girl was there, Jim.
No, but I was just
We
there,
know, Jim.
and I was watching it from a distance. I was on a little balcony bit, and I was watching from a distance. There was two dykey lesbians. They were having a bit of an argument. They were obviously dating. They weren't getting along with each other, and then one of them stormed off, and to make a point, went over and started making out with another lesbian. And then I saw from a distance the original angry lesbian have a bottle and just walk up and just smash it into the back of her head.
blasted her.
Into the back of the head while they were kissing, just bang like that. And then punches were flying between the three lesbians, right? It was all fucking kicking off. And because it was a gay bar, and I don't want to stereotype gay people, but none of the men stepped in. Everyone was going, oh my God, oh my God. Because these two women were the toughest people in the room. Very rarely in my life am I the toughest guy in the room. But I remember sitting there going, really? It's up to me. Like I waited forever. Like,
Did you get in there?
I did. I came and picked them up by their flannelette shirts and went, "You get out of here. You go over there.
I was gonna say,
wake up to yourselves."
I was going to say, you rolled up your flannel shirt and you walked over and showed him what's what.
I'm not fucking with the girl that'll glass a girl.
Oh no, there was blood everywhere. Oh fucking yeah! I broke up a lesbian glass fight.
Fuck. I have to interrupt the show for a minute to tell you about our newest sponsor, Audible. I can't say enough about these guys. Audible is the best place to go if you want to download anything audio. If you want an audio book, I did it the other day and I listened to a book called Republic Lost by Lawrence Lessig. If you want to know why our country's falling apart, that's a great book. Other books, they have everything. They've got like millions of different books on there. You just go in. The best part is you get a free one the first time you go on, but you got to go through our link. And then whenever you want to get books, this is where you go. Go to audiblepodcast.com/talk shit. That's audiblepodcast.com/talk shit. There's an ad on our website at jimandeddietalkshit.com. Just click the banner, go there. That's the best thing to do. So thank you and help Audible because they're helping us. Now back to the show.
So you're in a fight at the moment, TJ. How's that working out for you?
It's a glass fight with a particularly famous lesbian.
Did you ever think you'd get this much publicity?
Never. Well, not even a little bit.
It was on the British comedy pages.
Is that true? Was it on,
everywhere?
What, Chortle? Was it on
Chortle.
Chortle?
It's top story.
Really?
In Chortle. Top story in Chortle.
Oh, what a terrible thing. So I was at the Laugh Factory and I was doing a set at this like Wednesday 10 p.m. show.
I thought it was the Improv.
No, he went to the Improv and he did something similar.
Oh,
Did the same thing at the Improv. Yeah.
Okay.
So I was at the Laugh Factory, and I was supposed to go up. Eric, Andre, Bobby, Lee, and me all wanted to go first, and we decided that Eric would go first, then Bobby, then me, because we all had to leave. I had like a 5 a.m. flight or something, and everybody was great about it. And then when Eric was on stage, somebody from the club came and said, "Hey, listen, Dane Cook is here, so Dane's going to do a little bit of time." And I was like, "Okay, great. When's he going up? At the end, or And they're like, "No, he's going to go up right after Eric." I was like, "Okay, so he's bumping Bobby and I. Are we still going to go up?" And they're like, "Yeah, Bobby's leaving." And I was like, "Okay, so what does that mean? I go up after him?" I said, "Yeah." I go, "Okay." So then I sit and I'm with some friends that came there to see the show and to see me, and I'm kind of waiting. And I said, "How long do you think he's gonna do?" And they said, about probably half an hour, maybe 45 minutes. I said, "Okay, that's fine. He's earned that. It's his home club." And so I'm sort of waiting, and he just proceeds to just kind of melt down on stage. I mean, I guess he hadn't done stand-up in a year or something like that. I mean, I guess he was at the Improv earlier. But he hasn't been performing much, has been what everybody's been talking about at the Laugh Factory.
Right.
And so he got up, and he was just, he was saying pretty, he was just kind of bombing. I mean, people were laughing, but he was just sort of bombing, and he was being just really, really, it was pretty hateful, kind of just really alienating material about wanting to kill his ex-girlfriend.
And that's my stuff. That's what I do.
Yeah, I know. He's stealing your shit. And I yelled at. I said, "I liked it better when it was Jim Jeffries." Dane. Yeah. So, he's saying about killing his ex-girlfriend and then putting a mask on the back of some stupid whore's face while he's fucking her from behind and spitting on her. And that's all fine.
But he always did fairly clean-ish sort of material, not ultra
he did,
clean.
But see, here's the thing. And so he went on later, and he went on Joe Rogan's podcast, and he sort of said, they decided that the reason that I was angry because I went off on him on Twitter, and the reason I was angry is because I got bumped, and also I was trying to censor his material. So they said that I was the comedy police. Comedy cop.
Who said
and
this?
I'd broken the code. Joe and Dane and Ari Shafir and Bert Kreischer.
They were saying that about you.
Yeah, and so but here's the thing though, is that
but-
I don't give a shit what anybody says on stage. It doesn't matter to me. I think Jim Jeffries is one of the funniest comedians alive, and I think his material is grossly offensive. But so that didn't matter to me at all. What mattered to me was as he was sort of descending further and further into the set, he started attacking the audience. Some girl was on her phone, and he was like, "Put that away, you fucking bitch! Like, what the fuck are you doing? Put away your phone. Dane Cook is on the stage, and you're fucking on your phone. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna come to your fucking funeral, and I'm gonna text while you're dead, and they're doing your eulogy." And that is the weirdest threat I've ever heard.
Yeah.
Because if he actually did that, everyone at her funeral would be like, "Hey, is that Dane Cook? If so, why is he texting? What an asshole." It was just very, it was a strange thing. But then he said some guy in the front row had a receding hairline. That's why he couldn't get any pussy. He was just being really mean to people. He was yelling at this other guy about something. And, he kept sort of berating the audience because they were so lucky to see him. And, any girl in here would fuck me because I'm me. And this is just this sort of onslaught of arrogance and really hateful, mean stuff. But mostly, I really only take offense to the following thing, and this is why I went off on him on Twitter, is I have to go up after you. And he did an hour and 15 minutes, almost an hour and a half, actually. So he did an hour and a half in the middle of the show, and he's not doing well, and he's just eating, he's eating it, but that doesn't matter. He's just tearing into the audience, specifically individual audience members. And that sucks for me.
Was the audience getting upset? Were there people who were complaining, or?
I mean, there was just a general sort of, I don't know, it was like an ennui. Like they were sort of like, okay, They just kind of didn't really care. I mean, they were sort of laughing, and some people started to go like, okay.
It seems out of character for him to do like such hateful jokes. I don't understand what the shift in his head's been.
Well, what he explained later was that he's been going through a bunch of stuff, and now he's decided that the only, he's going to connect with audiences and be more autobiographical, which is a respectable thing to do, and I understand that transition. But
So it turns out his autobiography is he wants to spit on the back of whores' heads.
Yeah, which is weird. If he's getting, who
doesn't?
Maybe it was
chainsaw
better,
fucking a
maybe
stupid
it was
whore's
better
cunt.
if he didn't go through these developments. I just kept them bottled in.
Yeah, I mean, those are some things that we all keep to ourselves. We've all spit on the mask of our ex-girlfriend that we placed
he was
on a
selling
whore.
Madison Square Garden before this. I don't know if you're going to sell with that.
But so then he decided, and everybody who sort of took offense to what I said on Twitter, which was basically like, look, you didn't earn the right to come up, and these people paid money to see a show that you weren't even on, and you come in and you're just insulting them and being terrible to them, and then you walk off. And he even said later, he's like, I mean, what do I care? I'm not getting paid. It's fucking 40 people at the Laugh Factory on a Wednesday. And so my opinion is that's bullshit. I think, if people are spending their time to listen to you, you shouldn't not give a shit about them. That's but that's my opinion. That doesn't mean it's right. Other people would disagree with me. They say that stand-up is, supposed to be about the performer, and those people are supposed to listen to whatever they say. That's just a difference of opinion. But they try to say that I was trying to censor him and didn't like his misogyny and everything.
Who exactly said that? I find that hard to believe.
I mean, a lot of people. I mean, it was... mostly it was on it was on Joe Rogan's podcast.
Okay.
They all sort of
But
agreed.
Joe has fairly exact views on what he thinks of comedians, and he's not very quiet about them.
Joe has been extremely critical of Dane.
Well, but here's the thing. I like Joe Rogan. I like his material. I think he's really funny, and I like what he stands for in stand-up. So it's very frustrating to me that they decided that I was the comedy police, and they all agreed that I was bad for comedy by going off on this rant. Here's what's weird. They're mad at me for saying what should and shouldn't be said on stage, which that wasn't even my point. Sure. But they're mad about that, and it's like, well, why can't I say what the fuck I want to say on Twitter? Who gives a shit? First of all, who gives a fuck that some weird talking bear, toddler-bodied comedian is talking shit about a multimillionaire who keeps pointing out how rich he is? He shouldn't care. No one should care.
Yeah, isn't it?
Much less the AV Club.
Isn't it possible that those guys were just saying that because Dane was in the room, just like we're just agreeing with you because you're in the room right now? And next week, next
Ari,
week when Dane's on the show, we're going to be talking shit on you. I mean,
maybe. I don't know. I think part of it was like, Yeah, you guys will definitely be talking shit when Dane comes here. And so
Dane would never come
So that
here.
was the big, that was the big thing.
Well,
is
I
that-
was sort of of the opinion before I heard your side of the story because I only read it very briefly. I thought, and I was going to have a little bit of a go at you because I thought that you were just bitching about Dane's material, but he hadn't bumped you. Now, the bit that I'm angry about is that he did the hour and 15. That's what
Hour and 15 in the middle of the show.
This is why I think you have the right to have a little bit of a gripe with a guy because that is as frustrating as fuck. And I have my own comics in the world that I have problems with for doing it to me.
There's nothing worse than being bumped, and there are guys that do it well, and there are guys that do it really poorly. When I was first starting, I used to watch Adam Sandler come in the room, and we were all in awe of him, and everybody was like, "Holy shit, it's Sandler!" And he would walk in the room, and they'd say, "Do you want to go on?" As soon as a famous person comes in, the club wants them to get on stage because that's how the club makes their money. And I understand that the club's got to make money, and it's great. And a lot of times you look at them, and they're a celebrated act, and you want to go, "Fuck!" When Chris Rock comes, I want to see Chris Rock.
Yeah.
I want to see Louis C.K. I want to see these guys when they come in the room. I'm fine with it. Adam Sandler would come in. They go, "Adam, you want to go on?" And Adam would go, "How many more people have to go on?" They'd go, "About 5 more." And he'd be like, "I'll just wait till the end." Because he knew these people are going to stay knowing I'm here. They're going to watch me. They're going to be so appreciative of me being here that they're going to sit and watch. So I don't understand the bumping process. Like, I don't.
This is what I don't understand about the bumping process, and it seems to be more an American thing than it does. It doesn't happen in Britain as much. I don't understand why these people even want to get on stage. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I've got gigs coming at my fucking ass. On my days off, I don't want to get up in front of 40 people. I'd rather play to my crowd. And
It's-
you know,
but
I understand if you're a movie guy and you're not getting much stage time.
That's what it normally is.
That
in
way.
LA.
That's what it
But
is.
then there's other people who aren't movie guys who just like they finish the gig there and then they go over town to fucking whatever.
But I've seen everyone from Seinfeld to Louis to David, everybody be very considerate and pretty much keep to their time and say, "I'm going to do 20 minutes," and they do 20 minutes.
Yeah, that's
but
I've seen Seinfeld always says that because I've been bumped by Seinfeld.
Yeah, and I've seen people like Damon Wayans has done it where he'll say, "Yeah, I'm going to go on for 20 and then stay on for an hour and a half." And I've
I
seen
don't
other guys
understand
do it.
these comics who have this thrill about as well that like when Dane broke the record or something, did 3 hours.
Yeah.
Who gives a fuck? I've done 2 hours is the longest gig I've ever done. But most of the time, if you come and see me, it'll be an hour and a half. If you come and see me in a theater, I just think no one wants to see anyone for more than an hour and a half.
I think that's exactly right. But
It's also when you get up to do new material, it's so painful.
oh, it's so painful. And it was
don't
painful.
wanna
It
be
was
up there
painful.
alone.
I think it was painful for him, and he was trying new material, and that's not what I fault him for. But I'll actually argue with you guys and say that I disagree. And I think that if you get to the level that Dane is at, or I think in many ways you guys are, a lot of the people that we've talked about, Chris Rock, David Spade, and I've been bumped by Dane before at the Laugh Factory.
Sure.
And I didn't say anything about it.
Does he own
But
that place? He's got his fucking
that's
name
some,
on there all
I
day.
guess that's some
rumor.
Rumor, yeah. But my thing is that
He bumped me out of his parking spot there.
he did. I think that if you get to that point, you've earned the right to go up whenever you want. It's his home club. That's the other thing. It is his home club. So I don't really care if somebody bumps me. And if you want to do an hour and 15 minutes, it's actually my fault. I should have said, look, he's in an hour. I'm not going to go up. They don't need to see me. But the Laugh Factory was saying, Bobby left. Please stay. We'd like you to stay. You are on the bill. People are here to see you. They were here to see Bobby. He's not going to go
You do feel
up.
like a shithead if you leave.
feel like a total
I
shithead.
leave. I always leave now.
Yeah,
But
you've earned the right to do that, and I don't think I have yet.
But
so-
I leave when I know if they say he's going to do 20 minutes. If I know he's the kind of guy that's going to do 20 minutes, I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
But if I know he's the kind of guy they say he's going to do 20, and I know him as an hour,
But I
guy,
didn't know
go,
that.
I'm getting the fuck out.
Yeah,
of
but
here.
see, I didn't know that. And so after he bumps me and then he shits on the stage and shits on the audience and then he leaves, it's like, first of all, it's a Laugh Factory. So usually if it was any other comedian or any other club, I would have gone up and just ripped into that fucking comedian. That would have been my whole set. But it was the Laugh Factory, so I didn't do that. I just said a couple of things trying to build the people back up in the audience that he had torn apart. And then I did my set and it went well enough. And then on Twitter, I was so pissed. I went a little crazy and maybe I got too angry. But here's the thing. Who cares? Who gives a shit?
Were you drinking?
No, I wasn't. I
Because
wasn't drunk at all.
everything that I've done bad on Twitter I've been drunk.
I know. Well, usually I'm high and I'm like, this'll be perfect.
Yeah.
The public wants to know. But in this case, I was just pissed. I was like, I was so mad. It was a combination of everything. He did an hour and 15 to an hour and a half minutes. He totally cut into all these people for no reason in the audience. He didn't have any light. He bombed, which
he
also is
sing,
fine. He
like-
never said to anybody in the room, hey, do you guys mind if I go up? I have bumped people because I go to certain rooms in Los Angeles and I can do drop-ins. I do that all the time. I do drop-ins at the Improv and at the Comedy Magic Club and stuff. And I always come to everybody in there and I go, hey, do you guys mind if I go up? I'm sorry to be dropping in.
No, it's-
Because it only takes 2 seconds to do that.
It's called manners and being polite.
It's called both those
Did he
things.
seem in a bad mood?
I mean, I didn't talk to him.
Like was his
on
demeanor
stage?
was his demeanor like he was fucking fucked or something?
Yeah, on stage, it seemed like that he had gone through a difficult breakup, and he was really, really pissed. And the way that he was expressing that was
And
not
that
necessarily
breakup, was that
funny, but
was-
that's okay.
That breakup, was that from his movie career or what was that from?
I think it was. I think she saw Employee of the Month, and then immediately after that saw The Talented Mr. Brooks, and realized that the first part of that title wasn't the case.
I actually thought he was good in Dan in Real Life.
I thought he was good in Dan in Real Life,
and really good in it. That I try to say only nice things.
But my thing is, I don't care. It doesn't. I mean, has anyone seen
The
some of the
response?
movies that I've been in? Like, what the fuck? Like, who gives a shit? It doesn't
Yogi
matter.
Bear,
you know?
I've seen.
Yours have all been successful.
But no, I was in Gulliver's Travels. That really only did well in Malaysia.
Gulliver's Travel though, that had a big budget though.
It did. It had $100 million budget, and that was a good
Was that
idea.
was that with Jack Black? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Jack Black and
Didn't he have to have his shirt off?
What
Was
was
that
was
the
Billy
problem?
Connolly a nice guy?
Yeah. He is really a nice guy. He's pretty easygoing, and you talk about politeness and manners. That's a guy who, Steve Coogan I've only met once or twice, and he's not
No,
particularly sweet.
Coogan's not the nice.
But Billy Connolly was like, hey,
I
how you
love
doing?
Coogan, but I've met him a couple of times as well, and I always get nervous whenever. Like,
He's funny as fuck. He's
But
so
the
funny.
best character actor I think ever. But
Do you know? Did I ever tell you a story? I met his brother Martin Coogan.
No.
I'm in Wigan. You know
Right.
Wigan.
Yeah, I know Wigan,
I'm in Wigan, which is how would you describe Wigan?
It's in between Liverpool and Manchester.
Let's describe it.
Well, Liverpool and Manchester is shit. Imagine living in between them and being and being more.
Yeah, I know Liverpool.
And
That's pretty rough.
I'm in Wigan. I'm about to go on stage, and I go to the MC. I go, they're gonna hate me, and he goes, yeah, they are.
Liverpool is the only place that I've ever been offered Special K, like
Yeah.
ketamine.
Yeah, yeah.
They're like, you want some ketamine? And I said,
You want some
no,
fucking ketamine?
Yeah, no, I'm not going to have any ketamine, I don't think. And like 3 guys all at once are like, you fucking pussy.
Yeah,
That's
Yeah,
so great.
Liverpool's terrifying.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
the
real
women there, I
scary.
love the Liverpool women. Though.
But Wigan, Martin Coogan, who's Steve Coogan's brother, is a school teacher, but he had
aha!
the number 1 song in the UK.
Is that true?
He was with the Mock Turtles.
All right.
Do you know the song?
Oh, yeah, I know of this actually.
But like I think about families like that where the one guy's like a fucking movie star and the other guy's the number 1 song in the on the charts. Like, how the fuck do you have that much talent in one family?
Yeah, you got to spread it around a little bit, you know?
What other films? Gulliver's Challenge.
Gulliver's Challenge. That was, can you be smaller than the little people, Gulliver?
Wait, before we go through his
challenge you.
resume, we have to finish out the story, which is Dane's response. And I haven't really been critical of anything that's happened yet, but the response is where I think he might have gone a little.
So pull that
wrong.
up. Is that on Laughspin? So so he went on Joe Rogan's podcast and they decided, all these things, and it doesn't. I mean, here's the main thing. I'm such a loser. How much of a loser am I? Why do you care? First of all,
Same reason I
Dane
fight
Cook-
with people on Twitter.
Yeah, Dane Cook bumped me at the Laugh Factory. I'm in such a huff about it that I tweet about it. Then that gets picked up by the AV Club. Then all of Dane Cook's fans are like, "Fuck you."
Oh, have they been coming after you?
Yeah, for sure. And Joe
Yeah.
Rogan's fans too. And so then I start responding to them. Then I find out what he says on Laughspin. Then I go. Then I'm listening to Joe Rogan's podcast in my underwear in Charleston, South Carolina, where I'm doing a couple shows, and I'm
Why
like
you-
thinking about, should I go on Pete Holmes' podcast? Should I go on this whole thing? And
Well,
because it
response.
doesn't matter. That's my whole point. It doesn't matter what I said. It's ridiculous of him to
but-
respond. It's ridiculous of me to have even tweeted about it in the first place.
But you know what it is? This, I've been doing comedy 16 years, and this whole new social media shit has been like the last, 8 years about,
Yeah.
where we had MySpace, then we had Twitter, then we have podcasts. And all the shit that we used to talk about behind closed doors, it was just amongst comedians. Now it's amongst comedians and fans.
Why is
And
he?
so
Why
the
is he mentioning Patrice O'Neill?
The fans get involved.
this is really
the
crazy.
fans get
This is
involved, and the fans make it worse because they're the guys that stand at the circle of a fight, and they're like, "Fucking hit him, hit him, hit him," and the fans get into it. Because I get Twitters all the time. Did you hear what Mark Maron said about you on his podcast? Did you hear what so and so said? And they stir the flames.
Oh no, they do. They do.
Yeah, but it doesn't.
I've got
instigators.
I've got comedians that their fans hate me, but me and that comedian are friends.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's,
Oh no, 100%.
Yeah.
And it's so weird that people are they want a fight to happen and they kind of go after it, but it doesn't matter. You know, all of Joe Rogan's fans were like, "You can suck my dick. Dane Cook can say whatever he wants to say."
This is something,
and I'm like, "You guys, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what I think about Dane Cook said. He has 2 million Twitter followers. He's fucking rich forever. He keeps mentioning it. It doesn't matter.
It
doesn't matter what I say.
It's like you saying Coca-Cola tastes like shit.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh wait, what did the retarded Ryan Reynolds say about that? Like, it's so dumb.
But like 8 years ago, this would have been us all sitting around, and Dane would have been there, and Joe, and everybody would have had an argument, and then at the end of it,
that would have been it.
Exactly. But
now we can pull up. So yeah, read what his response.
And we're going to
is.
get a lot of hits from it.
So tonight, Cook. Here, you read it. Read the.
Farside, you want to read it for us?
no, which bit are we reading from? Tonight, Cook responded, telling Lesbian, "I'm back in the stand-up octagon after a year off."
Vicious circles, octagon. This guy loves polygons, any shape or size.
I'm back in the stand-up octagon after. What are you making it blue for? I am deeply inspired. I am deeply inspired by various artists I admire. Certainly, my friend and one of the greats, Patrice O'Neill, and I look forward to his future work. Oh, hang on, I didn't read everything. I'm sorry, Patrice. Certainly, my friend and one of the greats, Patrice O'Neill, passing away, has fortified my belief that we, as comedians, all need to share and explore our souls up there. And sometimes our perspective,
on the whimsical
minutia. What the
I
fuck
knew you
does
wouldn't
that
get
mean?
You know, whimsical minutia, spitting on a whore's back of her head. It's just the little things in life.
What is minutia?
Yeah, it's like the little unimportant things.
Oh, okay.
Trivia.
In order to grow as artists and people, I always felt that comedians can't be critics. Why not?
We're the most critical
I wish you
people
were
in
there.
the world.
Why not? Why not? If anyone should,
Because we're not criticizing the world around us. That's not our job.
If anyone
is to
should
critically
critique
analyze.
comedy, it's us and not the fucking critics.
Right.
I feel like I read fucking reviews of great comics, and I'm like, this critic doesn't know what the fuck they're talking about. And as a comedian,
Thanks, Jim.
reviews of some comedians. Now, I always felt that comedians shouldn't be critical, Cook added, referencing the fact that so many fellow comics had things to say. They can all be critical on stage, but it's impossible to be both an artist and a critic.
We're doing it right now. Every single person in this room is doing that right now.
That said, I think T.J. Miller, the AV Club, what's the AV Club?
The AV Club
The
is
Onion.
the
It's
Onion.
the Onion's entertainment section.
The AV Club and I go on road trip this weekend. I know a terrific spa in
Ojai.
Ojai. Referencing Ojai Valley Inn and Spa. Hydrating facials, doubles tennis, and killer 15-minute
Expectant mother
massage. My treat, since I'm really quite rich. Okay,
Since I'm really quite rich, is
Rich,
what he
I did
said.
say, yeah.
And what I learned from this is that Jim should never read anything again.
I'm
dyslexic. Don't be a critic.
You can't be both, Eddie. You can't be both.
Can't be both.
Well, here's what it is. We're criticizing you too, Dane, Jim and I, so I think we want to come along to the Ojai Spa.
I
with
challenge
TJ. Yeah.
Dane Cook and TJ Miller to doubles tennis against me
And I challenge the AV squad
AV squad
to an expectant mother's massage.
Yeah.
I wanted an expectant mother's massage for Farsight.
Yes.
So I will.
Dane Cook, you're rich. Take us to Ojai.
Give me your money.
Could you see if we went on the trip? All of us.
I mean,
sitting there?
my buddy Nick Vatterott called me right after he read it. He's like, buddy, you gotta go on that
You have
trip.
to, and we do too now.
I mean, you guys should come. But what's weird is
No, I
that-
think take him up on it and do some photos.
Absolutely.
Well, here's what I think. I definitely would do it. But I feel like...
How bad would we run up the minibar bill?
real bad.
Let's just say this: worse than Dane.
But I feel like that. It's just first of all, it's a response that was pretty good in the sense that he didn't come at me. But it's weird that he immediately goes to Patrice and the fact that he's really rich and we can't be artists and critics. It just doesn't quite all fit. But it doesn't matter. It's weird because he's saying don't have an opinion about my stuff. That's my opinion. And it's like, okay, Dane, then don't have an opinion about my stuff, especially when only, however many Twitter followers I have are listening. And I'm not criticizing his misogynistic material. I hated his material that night. But it doesn't matter. Many people that night in the audience hated my material. And we're like, what the fuck is this guy talking about?
Look, it's not illegal to be a bad comedian, so that's not even an issue in my book.
Did you pick up a lot of Twitter followers from this?
I mean, unfortunately, yeah, I got like 2,000 or 3,000 Twitter followers. All people are like, yeah, fuck Dane. Now we have a reason to hate him.
But don't you hate that even more?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
I hate that people...
I hate it because I get a lot of fuck Dane Cook, fuck Michael McIntyre, who's a British guy.
Yeah, I know.
I get a lot of that stuff. I have no problems with Dane. I think Michael's a phenomenal comic, and you know what I mean. And I also, in the same thing, comics who are similar to me. Some of Doug Stanhope's fans say "fuck you," and some of Joe Rogan's fans say "fuck." And then you go, and so it's this vicious cycle that you can't. When, as I said, I'm friends with those guys, and then it's
Stanhope addressed that well, and he wrote a letter to the comedy community about Dane Cook once, and he said, "Stop telling me what's bad. Tell me what's good. I'm sick of people going, this guy sucks and this guy sucks."
But and here's my biggest thing is, regardless of what you think of Dane Cook, you have to respect his work ethic because I'm real big on that. And so my opinion is, if he worked as hard as he did to get to where he was, then he deserves to be able to bum somebody at the Laugh Factory and do an hour and 15 minutes of whatever he wants. It's just I've gotten far enough, having been in Yogi Bear 3D and probably Yogi Bear 3D 2D.
What about Yogi Bear 3D?
I can't wait for that one.
That's cute.
That I can
That's
Twitter
cute.
about how I think, he was being a fucking asshole and just trashed the stage for the rest of the comedians that went up after him. So me and Alex Scott have to go up after him and deal with this thing. And he's like, I'm really quite rich. Well, Dane, take a quick look at my IMDb. I'm not hurting for money either. I drive a Nissan Juke. Okay. Fully loaded. It's got a moonroof, not a sunroof though. I can only open it at nighttime.
I've got a moonroof. What is the difference between a moonroof and a
That's
sunroof?
a very good question. That's not true.
One opens up and the other one slides open.
Yeah, my
so
one
you can reach
my
through
one
it.
slides open.
I think
Yeah.
they all slide open since,
Well, mine-
since like
mine-
They slide
1989.
until-
Mine I made with a hacksaw, and it's just always open.
Yeah, because I always try to look up at the moon and see if there's something going on.
I had a friend do that, but a friend of mine cut the top off his Volvo because in California they have you don't have to pass inspection here. Every other state you have to pass inspection. He cut the fucking roof off his car and had a convertible.
I mean, how fun is
It
that?
sucked when it rained.
I remember I had a Greek mate of mine whose dad decided to paint the car just with house paint. Just with a brush, just thinking it needed a new look.
Just paint it out. What color was it?
He just painted it white.
When are
Just
we going?
whitewash.
When are we going to Ojai?
I mean,
TJ,
ASAP.
are you going to talk to Joe about this? Do you speak with him?
No,
or what's the deal?
I don't really know him that well. I'm kind of just a fan from afar. But I guess some Twitter follower, some fan of his who's also a fan of mine said that at the end he invited me to go on his show. And I think I would do that because I think he's a reasonable guy. And I would say, but I think I've said enough of my piece. And also, it doesn't matter as much as we've already even talked about it. And it's been all over the internet. Yeah. And it is, you know what, Jim, that's a good point. Like, I hate that people tweeted me and were like, thank God, man, Dane Cook fucking sucks. It's like, yes, he does, but that's not a reason to become a fan of mine.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I gave you some reason, because so much of the hate on Dane Cook is just this misplaced, I've decided that part of my identity is that I think Dane Cook sucks and this comedian's good and that.
Well, so
it's
this
such
is
a waste
the thing.
of time.
I've gotten so sick of the comparisons between comics or me and other comics or who's shit and who's good, that in the last 2 years I haven't watched a single bit of stand-up anymore of other comics.
And your act has suffered from it.
Because I just don't want to be influenced by anyone, but it's more importantly, I just don't want to have an opinion on anyone past what they're like as a guy anymore.
Well, but the other thing is in music, you can't like just because you like one band does that we were talking about this like with genres like you can like Metallica and also like James Taylor.
If Dane Cook is pop comedy, you know, and then somebody else is alt comedy and somebody else is blue collar comedy, yeah, it's like I don't like Larry the Cable Guy, but I understand why he's present. I'd rather that there were genres of comedy than people thinking what they thought in the 80s.
But have you ever seen a genre of that comedy that you've gone, this is fucking funny? Like a guy in that kind of in that kind of,
occasionally,
no, totally.
Yeah, so
it's like, I don't like Guitar Acts, but I do like the Flight of the Conchords.
You've got to see. There's an episode. It's the greatest show I've ever seen. If you like stand-up comedy, you have to watch the Ricky Gervais show where it's Ricky, Jerry Seinfeld, Chris Rock, and Louis C.K. talking about comedy. Yeah. It's amazing. They all talk about this guitar act and how fucking funny it was. And he was playing. Sitting on a cock because I'm gay, and they were saying it was one of the funniest things ever. And Ricky's they're arguing if it's funny, it's not like funny. And all I'm doing, I'm dying to find out who the comic was.
Yeah, I know.
They never talked about who the comic was, but I want to know who it was. But you can like all different kinds of shit, and like I watch Dane sometimes. I'm like, that's fucking funny. That's hilarious. That's really funny.
No, man, I thought Harmful Wind Swallow was really funny, and when I
you said that in the thing,
to him, I thought it was so hilarious.
Yeah.
But and the other thing is, as a comic, because that was the other thing, Joe Rogan. A lot of people think I'm they think I'm an actor because I was in Ice Age: A Mammoth Christmas. They think I'm an actor who then later tried to do stand up to try and make extra money. It's not true. I started as a comic and an improviser, and then I started doing film and television stuff, and I'm very fortunate to be doing all of them. But as a comic, I know how hard it is to be a stand-up comic. And so I do, unless you're an asshole, you have to have a baseline respect for any human being who has continued doing comedy for more than a couple of years because it's a really, really difficult profession. So it's not, I don't care if he bumps me, I don't care what he says on stage, and I respect his work ethic and what he's done. And it doesn't matter if I like him or not.
We're still going to beat you at doubles tennis.
The other thing is I think it's, you just thought you were talking to your Twitter followers. You had no idea that the Onion AV is going to pick this up and it's going to fucking blow up into this big giant thing. And so I think that's something else.
And it's weird because Twitter seems like it's made for that. It's to constantly criticize other people and write these.
It's schoolyard bullying.
You know, exactly. Every comedian that I follow talks shit about other people.
Well, but here's the thing with that because I get really
Except for
angry when people give me shit on Twitter.
I only knocked Tebow.
No, I went off on Tebow for
he deserves it, and he bumped you in Denver.
I went off on Tebow because I was so angry about him beating the Steelers, and I fucking went off on him for like a day straight. I couldn't stop. And some dude was like, hey, I really like your comedy. You would fucking lay off Tebow. What the fuck? And I realized I'm being that asshole. I'm being that guy criticizing.
Not you, Eddie.
But I was having fun. I was having fun with it.
It's meant
and then
to
I'm
be
thinking,
fun.
but if Tim Tebow went on, I mean, I'm sure he wouldn't because he's not as insecure as me. But if he went on Twitter, he'd be like, the fuck? Why is this guy fucking? Why are all these people coming at me?
Then also people said,
Spectacle.
what a pussy.
Spectacle.
He didn't tag Dane because I never used his reply. I just talked about him in the third person.
Yeah, I don't
and
know
they were
how to
like,
do that.
what a pussy. And it's like, no, it's not a pussy. I wasn't trying to start a Twitter fight with Dane Cook. I was just venting about how he shit on this audience before I got to go up, and that's a pain in my ass.
Yeah, but
It
there is this weird thing in comedy, and people that aren't comedians don't know this, but like you're kind of told when you do comedy, there's it's like a tacit agreement that you don't talk shit on when you go on stage. It's easy to go up. You could go up. Every one of us could do it and be like, how about that last guy? He fucking sucks. And when they bomb and just rip them apart, but you just don't do it.
So
we have like a certain amount of
Here's my argument for that, Eddie. Is why are they mad at me for on Twitter? If you're censoring what comics can say,
If you did it on stage,
you essentially just said no comedian should be allowed to talk about.
If
other
you did that on
comedians
stage, we
saying-
wouldn't be talking about it right now.
I'm saying-
It's because you did it on Twitter.
Yeah, I'm saying that it's an unwritten rule, but I've seen guys do it. Ian Cognito, remember that guy?
Yeah, he's still alive.
He did it to me. It was one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life. So it is, And, fucking Dom Irrera does it all the time, but there's a funny way to do it. But there is this kind of like, you don't do that.
But there's a difference between trashing somebody because their act sucked and
someone
trashing them because they,
misinterpreting what you
well, no,
said.
but also trashing somebody because they trashed the room and the audience.
Sure. If
before you had to
if
go
he
on
got down and
stage.
punched a girl, you'd be like, all right, that's fucking wrong.
Yeah, that's crazy. And really what I was doing, and Twitter, this is an excuse
Not
what
that
I did
wrong,
on
but-
Twitter, but really what I did afterwards is like, I'm doing damage control. When I went on stage, I had to do a little bit of damage control because the crowd had been so damaged. But it was, look, it's fine.
You know when you
can
go
do
to a
that.
gig that doesn't go well?
That's what I call it, like
really
a
good, Jim.
bad gigger. It's a gigger.
I'm on stage. People ain't laughing.
I'm over here talking about it now.
So I'm spitting on the skull.
I'm a chainsaw fucking here.
Like
You know
this.
like this. That's how I do it.
Did he do that?
I don't know how you
When he
do
did
that.
the chainsaw, did
No,
he
he
go,
did- he didn't
and
do
you go,
any of
you
that
pull
stuff.
it, wing-a-ding-a-ding-a-ding.
He didn't do any of that stuff. But also, it doesn't like I don't know. He didn't do any of that stuff, and he is trying to. If he wants to try and make this transition, then more power to him. And I think it'll make for an interesting
Documentary.
change in what he's doing. Right, and a great documentary.
But
that
this
you
can be like
Netflix
it's gonna be
instant.
like your Tupac thing.
But it's not going to be like my Tupac thing because I don't care, and he shouldn't either. It does. It does.
Wait a minute. What did you do to Tupac?
You killed Tupac.
I didn't kill him, but I got a tattoo of him and Jim Jeffries on my back.
Yeah.
But you can only if I'm wearing
Yeah, don't
if I'm
mention-
wearing a turtleneck, then you can only see Tupac.
Do you know the Apple Sisters?
I do know them.
We can talk about it now.
Yeah, we can
we
talk
did
about it.
something wrong, and we've apologized for it.
What did you guys do?
We decided to attack them because we wanted to get
What did
ratings.
you guys do? You did it more than I
You
did.
nodded.
For no reason, Jim picked them.
I decided. I said, we're dropping in the ratings a little bit. I said, let's find another podcast to have a fight against.
We've never met
wish-
them, never
Yes,
seen
I-
them.
I wish that I had the foresight to have that be the reason for the Dane Cook thing, but it wasn't. Unfortunately.
So we went through all the pictures, and then I just saw them. I went, well, that's our podcast, the Apple Sisters. Like, I knew nothing about them. We listened to them a bit. They weren't our cup of tea. Not saying they're not for others, right? And I had told our fans to go after them, and my God, did they ever. Like, when my management rang up, and what it was...
My manager's call. We had gotten so much. We had to apologize.
We had to apologize, and I meant the apology because it was unnecessary nastiness. There was pictures of them just with their faces covered
Part
with
of
cum.
part of
That's
it
an
was
example.
part of it was funny.
That's an example, Jim, of you being an artist and a critic.
Part of it was funny, but it went too far.
It went-
And
it went-
when we sicked the audience on them,
But see, that's the problem. It's like Joe Rogan's fans, when they came after
and
me.
those guys can fight.
Yeah, but
I know that's
look,
the problem.
I tell you
They're all-
what, man.
They're all at home just boxing in front of the TV, watching MMA.
And
One
Yo-
day I'll do this.
Now they're watching Yogi Bear.
Just don't read anything for a month.
Well, no. Here's the thing. The other thing is, I don't really care. I mean, I think it's funny because to me, if somebody's saying, "Oh, you should suck a dick," stop talking about Dane. It's like it's the same as when somebody says, "God, you were the worst part of Cloverfield. You ruined the movie." It's like, okay, well, what do you want me to do?
Go. I'll delete my part.
Well,
I
okay, so
thought
then the movie
I
wasn't
thought
for
the
you.
monster was the worst actor.
Well, I did voice the monster also, Jim. So I guess.
All right, everybody, thanks for listening. That was TJ Miller. If you want to find TJ, best place to find him is his Twitter at not TJ Miller, or his website. TJ Miller has a website.com. You can find Jim and I. All Jim's shows are sold out, so he doesn't need to plug them. But I am going to be in Seattle. I will be at the Comedy Underground from, February 8th to February 11th. That's 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th. 4 nights in Seattle at the Comedy Underground. You can get your tickets by going to something I don't know what the website is, but look, Seattle Comedy Underground. Also, I'll be in Australia. I'm coming back to Australia only to do the Adelaide Fringe Festival. Please don't email me or Twitter me or ask me when I'm coming to Perth or when I'm coming to Melbourne. I'm only doing Adelaide. I'm doing the Adelaide Fringe. You can get tickets at adelaidefringe.com.au. I'm there from the end of February till the beginning of March. I'm doing 20 nights, so buy your tickets now. And you can also see me. I will be in Ann Arbor, Michigan at the Comedy Showcase. This place is supposed to be like the most fun comedy club in the history of the world. That's what they keep telling me. That's how they talked me into it. And I will be there March 22nd, 23rd, 24th. So thanks for listening. Check out our website, jimandeddietalkshit.com. And we like TJ so much, we're going to bring him back for one more episode.